My name is Hannah. I am 29 years old. 2 years ago, I made one of the biggest choices of my life. I left my home city, the place where I had lived since the day I was born, and I moved to another country. That choice was not easy. For 27 years, I never once left my city. The streets were like old friends to me. The buildings carried memories. I knew the people who lived around me. I knew the language, every sound, every phrase. It was comfortable. It was safe. But something deep inside whispered, it is time to grow. For months, I ignored that voice. I told myself, why leave? You have everything here. But the whisper did not stop. I wanted more. I wanted something new. One morning, I sat in my small kitchen. The sun came in through the window. My computer was open on the table. My hands were shaking as I clicked on the screen. A ticket appeared in front of me. Flight to Toronto. I stared at it for a long time. My heart raced. Then I clicked buy. The kitchen went silent. I looked around my apartment. The walls looked back at me. My chair, my table, my books, they had always been part of my life. But soon, I would leave them behind. A wave of fear came over me, but also a wave of excitement. I smiled. I felt brave. I had no big plan. I had just one suitcase, some savings, and a heart ready to try. My English was not strong. I worried I would not understand people. I did not know how to find a home. I did not know anyone in Toronto. But I told myself, you can learn. You can try. That thought carried me. My first night in Toronto was cold. The sky was gray, heavy with clouds. I stayed in a small room I had rented online. It was near a train station. The walls were plain, the bed simple, the air cold. I pressed my face against the window and watched the street below. People walked fast. Cars moved in every direction. The city felt alive, but strange. I was far from home. My old city was thousands of miles away. Yet I did not cry. I was not sad. I was curious. I felt like a small seed planted in new soil. The next morning, I went out early. I wore my coat and scarf and held a small paper map in my hand. I walked slowly. Every street sign was a puzzle. Some words I understood. Some words I wrote in my phone to learn later. My eyes tried to read everything: shop signs, bus stops, posters. The world was new, but I wanted to take it in. I stopped at a small cafe. I ordered tea. My voice was quiet. The cashier smiled and handed me a cup. I sat down and listened. People around me talked in English. They laughed, they argued, they ordered food. I caught some words, lost others, but I listened carefully. Their voices became my classroom. That afternoon, I found the city library. Inside, it was warm and bright. The smell of books comforted me. I walked slowly through the shelves until I found books with simple English. I sat down and began to read. I whispered new words in my mind. Each one felt like a new key. As I read, a woman walked past. She stopped, looked at me, and smiled. "Do you need help?" she asked kindly. Her name was Sarah, and she worked at the library. I told her I want to learn English. She handed me a small paper with class times. "You can join," she said. My heart lifted. That small paper gave me hope. The next week, I started the free English class. The room was full of people from different countries. A woman from Egypt sat next to me. Her name was Noor. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. She spoke slowly and clearly. We became friends. After class, we sometimes walked together. We practiced English on the streets, making mistakes, laughing, and trying again. I was no longer alone. In the evenings, I practiced with an app. I listened to short English stories. I repeated sentences out loud. My voice sounded strange at first, but each day it became stronger. I told myself, this is how I grow. I never said, it is too hard. I always said, it is new. After 2 months, I looked for small jobs. Online. I found one in a community kitchen. They served food to older people and students. They needed someone to help serve meals and clean tables. I wrote a message, "I am learning English. I work hard. I want to help." To my surprise, they replied. They invited me to meet them. I was nervous. I wore my clean shirt and jeans. I practiced simple sentences in my head. At the kitchen door, a woman smiled at me. "Hi, I'm Claire," she said. I smiled back. "Hello. My name is Hannah. I want to help here." We sat at a table. She asked me a few easy questions. I tried my best to answer. She nodded, looking pleased. "Let's try for 1 week," she said. My heart jumped. I had a chance. The next day, I began work. The kitchen was busy. People came in hungry. I filled glasses with water. I wiped tables. I said hello to everyone with a smile. My English was small, but my kindness was big. I watched how the others spoke. I listened closely. I wrote new words on little papers I kept in my pocket. Later, at home, I searched their meaning. One evening, an old man stopped me as I cleared his table. "You are doing a great job," he said. His words were simple, but they warmed me. I said, "Thank you." That night, I went home proud. I was not just learning words, I was helping people. Weeks passed. Claire called me into her office. She smiled. "You are part of the team now," she said. My chest filled with light. It was not a big job, but it gave me something more important than money. It gave me a place, a small home inside this big, new city. My days soon had rhythm. English class in the morning. Kitchen work in the afternoon. Study at home in the evening. I was tired, but happy. Every day, I learned something new. One Sunday, Noah and I went to the park. We sat on a bench with coffee in our hands. The trees glowed with red and yellow leaves. The air was crisp, the sky blue. "You are doing well, Hannah," Noah said softly. I looked at the trees and replied, "I feel different now." Simple compliments stayed in my heart. Outside of work, I joined a free walking group in my neighborhood. Every Saturday, we met in the park. The leader, Helen, was full of energy. "Walking is not just for health," she said. "It's for meeting people." We walked in groups of 10 or 12. Some talked, some stayed quiet. I listened. I learned new words. People spoke about books, pets, children, travels. Sometimes I only said small phrases like, "Oh, I understand," or "That's nice." But even those little sentences made me more confident. After a few weeks, Helen asked, "Would you like to help with the group?" I was surprised. She said, "You can greet people. You can help new walkers feel welcome." I agreed. Each Saturday, I stood by the gate and smiled. "Hello. Are you new?" I asked. People told me their stories. When they asked where I was from, I said, "England." When they asked why I moved, I said, "I wanted a new life. I wanted to grow." They always said, "That's brave." And I thought, yes, it is. Spring arrived. The snow melted. Flowers grew by the sidewalks. The air smelled fresh. Something inside me shifted. I could read signs more easily now. I could speak longer sentences. I could write small texts in English without needing a translator. One day in class, the teacher gave us a story to read. It was about a woman who moved to a new country, worked hard, learned the language, and helped others. As I read, I smiled. This sounds like me, I thought. After class, Noah and I walked to the bus stop. "Do you think we can do something big one day?" she asked. I nodded. "Yes. Maybe not fast, but step by step." She looked at me closely. "You're different now. You speak better. You look stronger." I laughed. Maybe I am stronger. That month, I saw a notice for a job fair. Claire encouraged me to go. The hall was full of tables and people. Some were new like me. Some spoke English fluently. I walked slowly, looking around. At one table, a sign read, "Local food team. Helpers needed." A man smiled as I approached. "Are you looking for work?" he asked. I said yes. I help at a kitchen now. I also finished training. I showed him my card. His eyes lit up. "That's great. We have part-time work. Would you like to try it?" I said yes. A few days later, I met with the manager. She was kind. She asked, "Can you work 2 days a week?" I said yes. I'm ready. This kitchen was bigger. There were more people. I cleaned vegetables, packed boxes, wrote short notes. They liked that I listened carefully. They said, "You follow rules well." Now I had 2 small jobs. My days were full, busy.